All right, guys, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak Broncos Podcast, and today I'm here to talk about Omarion Hampton on it and if he'd be a good fit for the Denver Broncos. But before we get into it, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You can always wait until the end. Hopefully, I'll have earned it. And yeah, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, before we talk about anything else, I think this has pissed me off even more during draft season than talking about the Joker because it extends just beyond our fan base. I see a lot of people comparing Omarion Hampton to Javonte Williams, and honestly, that feels like a negative connotation to me just because of how Javonte's career ended here and, what trajectory he was on after he tore his ACL, blew up his MCL, blew up his PCL, blew up every CL in the lower half of his body. That should not make anybody hesitant on Omarion Hampton, and I'm here to explain why. So, first of all, I just see very few similarities in their game, besides the fact that they, A, look like, and B, they're built similar. And I know that during draft season, like, we can fall into this comp. Like, I feel like a lot of people comp Sam Howell and Baker Mayfield a few years ago. I was like, they don't really play alike, in my opinion. I feel like that is easy to do when these guys shared a uniform at the college level as well, and they have very similar physical stature. But they run with very different styles to me. Hampton also has the vision, route running, and excuse me, top speed that Javonte Williams did not have when he was coming out. On the contrary, Javonte had the better tackle breaking ability and the better pass protection game as well. That's all I'm going to say. So, our new mock draft trend a few months ago was Tyler Warren. Then he ballooned into the top 10. Colston Loveland has now basically been priced out of our territory, I'd say. And in Daniel Jeremiah's 3.0 mock draft, he had the Broncos selecting Omarion Hampton. And to be completely honest, with his argument is that with the Broncos bringing in Evan Ingram in free agency, that they can afford to wait on a tight end. And you know what? He's not entirely wrong, even though if Loveland is, or even Warren, if they trade up for him, is their guy, they're still going to take him. If they really value them that highly, they're going to take him. But if you look on the left side of the screen, you'll see that Hampton's now a very trendy pick for the Denver Broncos. And I know that some of these are completely nonsensical sources to get your mock drafts, but the lead industry guys, they basically lead the way with their mock drafts. I'd say probably every week or so, and then the rest of the NFL world follows. So yeah, Omarion Hampton is now the latest mock trend for us. And listen, all I got to say is that our running back room sucks right now. Even with the lack of acquisitions that we've made for the running back room, that just basically means that we're going to draft a running back in the first or second round. And I think the passiveness, just the fact that they haven't really figured it out in the with free agency, they're going to figure it out through the draft. And besides who I call Jello Knees Dobbins, JK Jello Knees Dobbins, there's no guys in free agency that I'd feel comfortable even starting for us. I think the three that are kind of on my list right now are guys like Nick Chubb, maybe competing for a role, but I'd be physically ill if we brought him in and he was like our first, second down consistent guy. Another guy is Deontay Foreman, who, I mean, if you're going to bring in a guy at this stage of free agency who pretty much doesn't offer a whole lot besides competing for a role, then, I mean, the writing's kind of on the wall when it comes to them, and the rookie should be the in-house favorite to supplant them or usurp them at some point in the year. But enter Omarion Hampton. So 6 foot, 220 pounds with a 9.67 relative athletic score. Top speed of 21 plus miles per hour in game. He actually ended up doing that 2 times last year. 1.56 10-yard split. So he was a very, very productive guy. And I think if you're just looking at pure production thresholds, he's probably the second best dude in the draft for his production, only behind Ashton Jetty at the running back position. And he has the size and ability to project as a true 3-down workhorse. He's not just a gadget guy. He's not just going to be like a third down specialist. He can play all 3 downs as a runner, which would be absolutely fantastic to have a guy who could, not only move the chains on first and second downs, but is a dynamic receiver. When was the last time we had a guy who can run a Texas route? That's all I got to say with that. But he's basically the consensus second best running back in the draft right now. Although I have seen some people with Quinshad Judkins and Trevion Henderson over him. But yeah, we'll talk about that. But career stats, 622 rushing attempts, 3,565 yards, 36 touchdowns, 73 receptions, 635 yards in the air, and 4 touchdowns in the receiving game as well. So what could Hampton do for us? What are the best traits of his game, and how could they help him improve the offense? So first of all, a physical chain-moving runner who doesn't run like he's stuck in mud would be fantastic. It's pretty much exactly what this team needs. And we already tried that with Estime, but unfortunately, Estime just didn't really show to have that kind of juice. Like, he's not a horrible runner or anything like that. It's not like he runs in cement, but I was really staggered with how slow Estime had a tendency to look at certain points last year. And in the last 6 weeks of the year, I'm not even sure he averaged 3 yards per carry, which is just terrible to think about considering our other options at the running back position. But a guy who can actually rip off big chunk plays is something that we have sorely missed, okay? And a guy who you can just give it to up the middle, just have him wham it and, read the blocks, read the leverage. That is something that drove me nuts this year that we did not have. I can count, off the top of my head, I can name 5 drives where he had 2nd and 1 and we didn't pick up the first down. So that's absolutely pathetic. You just can't have that in the NFL. And a running back with good vision would be a huge improvement over our nearly blind running backs from last year. There was actually a pretty good video posted by Marquee Sports about a month ago where he's talking about, the title of it is Let's Get Bo Nix Some Running Backs. And in that video, he basically showcased how bad Javonte Williams' vision was. And with a guy who could actually hit those holes, I wonder what we could do. Because I know we were first in run block win rate, but I got to be honest, I don't think we had the best run blocking line in the league. Average to above average? Probably. But our running backs just made them look so bad. And, if we draft a guy like Omarion Hampton, we can truly see what this offensive line is capable of. And we need a drive extending chain mover who we can A, run out the clock with, B, pick up those rough third downs with as well. So, yeah. Is he worth the pick at number 20? I mean, I got to be completely honest, okay? I do think a running back at number 20 would not be a great use of resources, no matter the desperation, no matter even if I was the only running back on the entire roster. I don't think a running back at 20 would be a good use of resources, just because A, the class is so deep, B, running back is still so dependent on other factors, C, I still think that defensive line or wide receiver would be the smartest picks at number 20. I do think running back and tight end would be good picks at number 20, but I don't think they would be the smartest necessarily. But on the flip side of the argument, if our team is ready for a running back, which I think it is, I think we have the necessary infrastructure in place to make this a worthwhile investment for the team, and then we wouldn't get clowned if it, didn't work out or anything like that, like the Giants did in 2018 when they had nothing going for them when they drafted Saquon 2nd overall. If we go there with our first rounder, I get it. I get the vision. Like, we have everything around the running back to make it succeed. And like I said, it's a position that's so dependent on so many other factors. But if he is the pick, I will be very pumped. I will be very, very excited. He's an absolute demon. And I still have a handful of guys I want over him. Like, I want Kenneth Grant. I would prefer Colson Loveland over Omarion Hampton. But I'd be so excited if we got this dude. Even though I do still think we can wait until the second round to pick up a guy like Judkins and Henderson. And I don't think the gap between those guys to Hampton is as substantial as, Loveland to the second tier of tight ends or Grant to the second tier of defensive linemen. I would be very, very excited with the pick as well. So that basically does it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Mile high salute.